Welcome to Good Intentions, Bad Decisions, Love Letters to My Younger Self. Today we have Naja Hall, life coach and journalist, and we are going to be talking about finding our tribe, healthy tribes, and friendships.
I'm excited.
I'm excited too. I want to get into it because
Yes.
this is a real sisterhood conversation.
Yeah.
And when I think about friendships, we are at an age that if I could go way, way back, my friendship circles would look completely different. Mm-hmm. And that's why I wanted to start off with this, because I think a lot of our life decisions start with our social circles.
Yeah. My mom always used to say association brings about assimilation. And so she embedded that in my head very early. Like, if you hang out with this group of girls that are doing these things, more than likely you'll start picking up patterns from these people. My mother and father were very strategic about placing me around individuals that set me on one trajectory. But then, you're a hard-headed kid. Mm-hmm. You're going to do what you want to do sometimes. And so, not saying I didn't veer off, but I think it's up to the parents, our parents, parents out there that are watching, to make sure their children are in circles of people that have a similar trajectory or that we can learn from,
Mm-hmm.
you know?
It's crazy because the reason I started this limited series, because I want to get the point straight across and I wanted to hit hard.
Yeah.
But I started this series because I did have that guidance from my parents. But it's weird. It just hit different when it's someone that's not your parent.
Yeah.
And I thought to myself, I'm like, what if younger me had this to give me that same lesson and guidance that my parents were trying to give me? And I was just like, oh, blah, blah, blah. I don't want to hear it.
Because we don't be listening.
We don't at all. We don't
parents.
listen to our parents. But the one thing that resonates to me so much today is my grandmother telling me to watch certain people. And she would always say, stop calling everyone your friend.
Was she right about those people?
Oh, my goodness. She was so right. And this is why I said I wish that younger me, like, thank you, Grandma, I love you to death. But I wish younger me had a podcast or a series or social media so that I could hear that message differently. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. So I'm grateful for this. A couple of years ago, we worked together.
Yes.
On something very dope and creative. And it resonated. Mm-hmm. It resonated a lot with women. It resonated with people in general.
It resonated with me.
It resonated with you. Me too.
Both of us.
Yes. So we worked together on a piece, a very special piece, and it was called the Marsha Complex. So as you know, I am a mental health professional, and just like mental health professionals historically, I came up with a theory.
Yeah.
I'm like, hey, if Maslow and Freud,
they can have their laws and their
so can I. Mm-hmm. So I came up with a theory, and I'm like, it's this thing where there's jealousy and there's envy, but there's something that meshes the two, and we could never really verbalize or put a title or word to it.
Yeah. Would you define jealousy and envy as being two different things or subcategories of one another?
I think it's subcategories of one another, but I actually feel like envy is a lot more dangerous than jealousy. Like, I could easily be like, oh, Naja, I'm jealous of you. You can wear any hair color and just look beautiful in it. And that'll be the end of, my
envy
jealousy.
might be more insidious.
Right.
Like, there might be actual harm that could happen.
Right.
Okay.
I think with envy, I might tell you to wear a bright platinum wig because I'm mad how beautiful the cinnamon color looks on you. So I want you to look bad because I don't want you to wear that good color. I think
or
that's
the girl that would see her homegirl drinking too much with a stranger at a bar and not say anything and not grab her to be like, hey, let's just stop.
Or leave her alone. That part. That's why it's dangerous. Envy is dangerous. So we worked on the Marsha Complex. And I titled it the Marsha Complex because for all you young girls out there and young women, I really want you to be able to identify, not just for someone else.
Well, you got to tell them who Marsha is, because a lot of people might not even know about.
So that part, I forget. We have generations.
Right. It's just, right.
So the Brady Bunch, if we all remember the Brady Bunch show.
We would watch reruns, because that was years ahead of us.
It was years ahead of us.
Yeah, I feel like it came, I don't know when it came out, but
we were younger, and they were already older in the show. Yeah. So on the Brady Bunch, you had the sisters, and you had the blended family from the two parents.
I think the dad came with 3 sons, and the mom came with 3
daughters. Yeah,
so they were a blended family.
Or it was like 2 sons and a daughter, and 2 daughters and a son, something like that. And what I remember is that the 2 oldest daughters, there was like this all-around daughter. Marsha. And she was just good at everything. No matter what, she was very resilient. She was very popular. She was just, academically strong, socially strong. Like, she could do no wrong.
She was the golden child.
Very much the golden child. And then you had Jan, who was more in the shadow of Marsha. And she wanted to keep up. And, she was inspired, but at the same time, it made her feel a lot smaller than her sister.
Unseen and minimized and jealous.
Yeah. So she would always say on the show, Marsha. Yes. So, but the thing that and when I wrote the piece with you, what I pointed out, and we did it was, what was it?
I think we did a sit down.
We did a sit down
chat session, and you did the written piece.
Right. We chatted, and then we did the audio, and we did the written piece. And the thing I said about Jan was that it wasn't with harm. It wasn't intentional. Like, Jan didn't have malice behind her jealousy, but it was more so like, why her? Like, why her?
Why not me? Why am I not seen? Why am I not centered? And Jan was the oldest. Marsha was the oldest, right? And then the middle child. So I think that comes into play as well. Then the middle child was the one that had the jealousy, and then the baby just got to be aloof because she ain't nobody.
She didn't really care about what was going on. But Jan had this like eagerness to compete with her sister and to keep up with her sister. This
invisible competition, because her big sister was not checking for her in that way.
Right.
But she was always looking up, and I felt like she was always looking like her big sister, her feet were just dangling over her, but not intentionally.
Right. And what was interesting is Marsha was so sweet and welcoming that she always tried to include Jan. Like, she just had a spirit of everybody can join, everybody can be great. It wasn't like only I can be great. That made her
sister resent her even more.
So I decided to explain to people what that mesh of jealousy and envy could look like in a friendship. And what I think is so important for girls and young women to pick up on this ahead of time. And this is how you curate your tribe, because although Jan meant no harm, sadly in today's society, we do have situations where people feel that way and they can't verbalize it, their emotions, and they will begin to attack you.
They will cost you your job, your life, your health, your livelihood,
your reputation.
Your reputation. I think that's a good place to start on how those relationships, I guess, they can cost you your reputation.
Absolutely. I feel like, I would ask you the question, have you ever felt like you had someone in your circle that was there to benefit from you? And unlike Jan, they weren't competing with you to keep up with, but instead they were competing with you to get you out of there.
Those parasocial relationships is kind of what we would define it as, right? Have I ever had anybody that I think when you're a person and you're existing in your own space at your own frequency, vibrating in your uniqueness, you don't really see those people that are trying to penetrate your space. Like, you don't really see them as competition, because people really be in a competition by themselves.
They do.
Like, they over here studying everything you do, usurping your relationships, DMing behind your back, and you don't notice it because you're vibrating in a certain space. I think people get jealous of of attention that you get that you don't even try for.
Yeah.
I think people, I've had a relationship because I was always a C student. I never was a straight A student. Even in college, like I'm not gonna lie, I did the bare minimum. I don't even know how I graduated. Got a degree, couple of degrees. I don't even know how. But academics was never really my thing. It's just something I felt like I had to do. And I remember I had this person in my friend group. She would go to the library and study and all of these things. And she made great grades. And one day she blew up on me. She was like, because I had this one class, the book in college, you have to pay for your books. It was like $400. And I was like, I ain't buying that. I'm just use my friend's books. And she was like, I'm not going to let you use my book because you always make B's and C's and I'm over here busting my butt and I'm not letting you do it. And why don't you study? And I was like, oh my God. Some people will really find themselves envious that certain things come easy to you. Not real.
Because I was going to say, was she holding you accountable?
She was angry that I did not try as hard as her, but I wasn't in the same place because her grades were better than mine. But she's like, you're still skirting through and you're not putting forth the effort. But there's some things that I have to try really hard at. That's just something that it wasn't my priority. I didn't really care that much. So I have been in situations adjacent to people that are like, why does this come easy for you? Dani, why do you get the opportunities? Why do they call you? I got the degree. I got this. I have that. Why? Like, people will really do you like that.
Yeah.
And I prefer the more verbose people, the ones that'll tell you, as opposed to the ones that are
that
sitting
are
and watching and
hiding,
plotting.
right?
Yeah.
Right. And this, you see, this goes back into what I wrote about the Marsha complex, because it's kind of like, now this is where it's vindictive, because it's like, why you? Why
not
you?
me?
Exactly.
What is it about? Because you can be close to somebody and seeing them have all these accolades, and in the right relationships, I feel like our friendships should challenge us.
Right.
Like I was telling you in the car on the way over, I was like, I like being around people that make me sit up a bit straighter,
Right.
or make me listen, or that'll expand my vocabulary. Those are the type of relationships I want to thrive in. But there's some people that cannot take that. Because you think you better than me because you're using big words.
Oh, I hate that
You think
statement.
you better, right?
Please don't ever use that.
I don't think I'm better than you. You think I'm better than you. So let's explore that. Why are you projecting your insecurities onto me? Your inadequacies, your emptiness, your gaps in your performance. Why is that my fault?
You know what my grandmother used to tell me?
What'd she say, girl?
When I would come home and be like, oh, so-and-so said, I think I'm better. She said, you tell her you think you're blessed. And I started saying that, and I was like, no, I don't. I think I'm blessed. Just like that.
And that shuts people up.
It does.
That'll kind of shut them up.
does.
Have you dealt with like the envious salaciousness of it all?
Oh my God, story of my life.
Yeah.
And it's so crazy because I'm thankful for spaces like this, because there'll be several people that I bring on because you don't see things the way others who love you genuinely see it.
Yeah, you don't.
And I'm so, like you said, oblivious to it because I'm vibrating on I have a higher vibration of joining everybody together and it's all love, and I don't see that. So many instances it was this energy and I totally overlooked it, whether it was multiple people, whether it was long-term historical people, whether it was new people in my life. I would be so me, and so that can't be what they're doing. You know, just that oblivious thought of, if I'm not like that, then why would other people be like that? You know, it's just like, why would they do that? I wouldn't do something like that. And I've had that on many of occasions. So when I hear my daughter talk and she's like, Mom, she's telling me about her friendship issues. And, you know, we all play a role. I always say that.
Yes.
I always say I'm not a victim, I'm a participant. But because I didn't pick up on these things, the red flags, just like dating, friendships, and social
whole nother
things. Are red
podcast on
flags.
dating.
Yes, I didn't pick up on the red flags, or I brushed them under the rug, or I didn't address things in the moment, or I didn't, audit my circle and continue to let people into spaces that they shouldn't have been in, opportunities that they shouldn't have been involved in. So that's how I played a role and was a participant and not necessarily a victim.
So you were being a good person.
Basically.
And not recognizing that other people don't have the same intentions.
Correct.
But I feel like that's one of the drawbacks about being a good, free-spirited person is it took me into my 30s being like, yo, not everybody is nice. Not everybody's a girl. Like, I got to exist with that naivete for 30 plus years, never being bullied, like, until my 30s. And I'm like, oh my God, there are people out here that were raised by wolves. They mamas were street fighters and their grandmothers toted pistols. I'm like, I don't know that life. Not that things were soft or necessarily easy, but just seeing that there's a certain level of womanness that exists out there.
I've never had those kind of feelings toward anyone. Like, I've never been jealous. Maybe like a jealous, like, dang, I got to get my stuff together. Like you said, like, it pushes you to be better, like that. But never envious, never wanting someone to fail.
Yeah.
Never wanting to see them do bad. Even my worst enemy, I'm like, wish you well.
Stay away from me.
Hope you heal.
But I hope you heal. Stay over there, but hope you heal.
That's it.
Right.
Like, I don't want them to do, I never had that kind of, so to know that I had people close to me who felt that way, like, oh.
That want to see you burn.
Yeah.
That's unimaginable.
Those words were actually used before, yes, toward me. Actually,
What?
About me and my partner's relationship, it was like, oh, I can't wait till this burns. and this is an immediate circle person. And it's like, for you, it took 30 something years. For me, I was 40. And I'm like, dang, you could have someone that close to you hate you that much, that the second there's a misunderstanding, they're going to show you how they
So
really
do
feel.
they actually hate you, or are their feelings a projection of what they are missing in themselves?
In that,
Because there are some people, and you know, I feel like I'm so self-aware. There are some people, some relationships that I've had where the things that they have gained and acquired have made me feel like there's things missing in me. But I didn't turn that into hate. I'm just like, okay.
You didn't act negatively on it.
I didn't. I didn't. You and I were talking about it. I was telling you about my homegirl. She had 2 failed engagements. And I got engaged. And she told me straight up, she was like, Naja, I'm not going to be able to really participate because I still have these feelings. And and she was like, I'm hurting. Like, I'm really hurting right now. And I love you, but I just can't be around it. And I'm just like.
Imagine being able to express that.
I didn't get mad at her. We sat, because I was with her, helping her with the brokenheartedness of what she had faced. So I understood, and I was like, sis, go over there and take your space because I don't want to be a person that triggers you.
Right.
And so as adults, we were able to come in our relationship as friends to be like, okay. And she came back around when she could.
Opposed to acting weird.
As opposed to acting weird.
Just being able to say that so like I said, going back to this being for girls and young women, when I'm talking to my daughter, who is now 18 going on 19.
She's a young lady now.
Yes, about picking up on behaviors kind of like this.
Yeah.
Like, if a friend can't sit with you and say, you know, this about you triggers an insecurity in me. Instead of saying to you, oh, you think you're this and you're just this. Now, sometimes if we are being crappy to people, we need accountability.
Yeah.
Point blank, period. Like, you're just not a nice person to me. And being able to be told that is one thing. But someone constantly throwing daggers at you about what you should be, what you should do, what you're not, what you think you are, is huge red flags. And this is what I'm explaining to my daughter. Like, pick up on this now and get these people away from you, because friends don't behave this way. Friends can hold you accountable without, like, breaking you down.
Right.
Like, you don't want that. You don't want someone to break you down in the process of just holding you accountable.
Yeah.
So I'm like, you know, a space like this is what you just said is what girls need to hear,
That's
what women need to hear, because you'll end up, sadly, like me, 40 years old, and you're finding out
there's snakes around you and you didn't even know it. They know your personal business. They know intimate secrets. They now have weapons that they can come back around and use to hurt you with. I think one of the things for me is I have a lot of good long-term girlfriendships. Like, they're my sisters now.
So are you no new friends type?
Absolutely not.
Okay.
Absolutely. You and I have only known each other.
And that's actually the next thing.
Yeah.
I had to tell you about.
No, you know what? I'll say this also. I welcome good human beings. I feel like when you're a good person, you attract really good people, but then you also attract the succubuses and the users and the envious people. But I pride myself on being a good, honest person. Yeah. And, you know, that's one of the things that I would say to anybody that's out there watching is internally, innately, are you good? What are your intentions?
Internally.
Yes.
Not for face value.
Not for face value. Are you good? Do you have an innate thing within you? And most people are going to say yeah, because we can't recognize those ugly things about ourselves.
Right.
We should be able to. Lord knows I can. I know you can.
Yeah.
You're very transparent with being like, yo, I need this.
Yes.
But you have to find friends that see the world like you do and that define friendship. How do you define friendship?
Honestly, for me, I'm like you. I don't use a timeline to define friendship. For me, friendship is how you make me feel.
Yeah.
And I don't mean like you doing something for me. Yeah. But do I feel safe with you? Do I feel vulnerable with you?
Can you be vulnerable with me?
That part. Yeah. Can it? Do I feel I have a space for growth? Yeah. And not judgment with you. To me, that is friendship. That's how I now have learned to, because before I thought that friendship meant it had to be the people that I've known since childhood.
Yeah.
It had to be historical. That meant as a friend because I knew this person for 25 years. That's my friend.
When I was in Girl Scouts, we would say, make new friends, but keep the old. One is silver, but the other is gold.
Wow.
And that just
that.
always stuck with me. But, I think about how we define friendships. And I didn't learn until later on that you do need to make sure the people that you call friends, all of your relationships need a definition, meaning some people say, you're my friend if we talk twice a week. You're my friend if you answer the phone every time I call. You're my friend if you let me borrow money. You're my friend if I could dump all my stuff on you. But then do I define it the same way? What if I only want to text and you don't call me a friend? We define our romantic relationships. Like, for example, some people would say a romantic relationship would mean that we're exclusive, that we're working toward a larger goal. Perhaps we want to get engaged, married, or something like that. So I feel like in our friendships, do you define it the same way I do? Because I've run into some issues with that. Yeah. Some girls would be like, "Oh my God, I'm talking every day. You going out with me?" I'm like, "No, I'm married and I'm tired. Like I got low iron. I ain't trying to go out all the time."
You got to know your friend.
Yes, know yourself and just make sure that we are on the same page as that. Because what your daughter is dealing with now, she's probably meeting all these people that are coming from different walks of life all over the country because she's a college student now, and some of them are probably clingy. Some are not. Some are users. Some people will say, "You're only my friend if you do things for me."
Some are very opinionated.
And does she like that? Well, I don't want to tell your daughter's business.
Right. But it's because she is me. Then, so it's like now I get to talk to this person and give them the blueprint to get ahead of stuff like this before it drags on out into adulthood and older adulthood.
Yep.
And you're dealing with issues at 40 where your reputation can be on the line because of behaviors that you didn't get ahead of when you were 19. That you didn't pick up on.
When have you felt a reputation attack?
Ooh, I feel like the first occasion, I haven't historically been like in positions where I feel like for years I didn't care. And then as kids, credentials, business came along, I started to care more. Yeah.
You had something to lose.
Right. So now it's like, now I'm mindful of what people think. When once upon a time, I said that to myself, I'm like, once upon a time, I didn't even care. Before Facebook or Instagram, I didn't care. I didn't care what people thought. And even in the very beginning. So once I started to gain what you say, like a public persona, it's like I cared more about what people think. And now I have a reputation to protect.
Your social capital is rising and you got to protect that.
But not only did I learn that, people around me learned that. And actually, I think they learned it more and before I did. They knew my power before I knew my power, before I even recognized it. Ooh. And it was a goal to stop that before it got any bigger or better than it was. And that's when I realized my reputation was being attacked. I'm like, and it's crazy to me because it's one thing when it's strangers. You know how you see celebrities online and strangers say these things and you're just like, whatever, you don't know me from a hole in the wall. But when you have actual people close to you
that have access to you,
and like you say, you thought that you could pour out, you could be vulnerable, you could share like very personal things, and then those things are used and weaponized against you. I'm just like, and now your reputation is on the line because they decide to, attack it.
Do you confront them when you hear the things or notice the things that they're doing?
So this is also what I want to teach girls and young women. I'm taking accountability for not, like I said, I went through these transitions. And to me, that's a part of friendship, is my definition of friendship. People who have sustain the friendship through all your shifts, like all your changes, up, down, rocky. Those people who are there for all versions of Danisha are friends to me. Like they weren't just there because I was the comfortable Danisha that they were used to, or they weren't just there because now I'm the successful Danisha. Like no matter what type of Danisha showed up, those people who were there the whole time are friends to me. So what I know of myself is that there was a version of me that addressed everything. Okay. You could blink wrong and I would address it. and it didn't benefit me the way that I reacted.
It's got to be exhaustive too for you and the receiver.
It was exhausting. It was the consequences. You know, it's like you can't behave that way.
Yeah.
Especially at one point in my life, I was very physical. It was I always use a Lilo and Stitch. I'm like, Lilo reminds me so much of myself, especially that scene where she pounded on the little girl.
Yeah.
And I'm like, this was me for so long. It was so much anger built in me too, you know, from trauma and childhood. So my reaction to you, I was never really a talker or arguer. It was just, I'm going to smack living daylights out of you. And I did that. I did that for so long. I want to say the last time I reacted that way was like college. And actually it wasn't, but the last time I like unintentionally reacted that way, because the next time I did, it was very intentional. Ooh. But unintentionally reacted that way was, and I said to myself, it got so bad that I went to the other end of the spectrum and I stopped addressing things. I became very passive or passive aggressive because the alternative was aggression. And the consequences from aggression never led me to anything good.
Right.
So I became very passive, and I'm like, I want to teach my daughter how to be assertive and speak up for herself and stand up for herself and love and stand in who she is, no matter what someone else is saying. You can still reflect, but you're not going to tear me down as I reflect. But I wanted to teach her that, because when I turned to the complete alternative of what I used to be,
that also didn't benefit you.
It didn't. And I wasn't addressing things, and things like this started to happen, like, you know, the attack on my reputation. And I was so passive about it. No matter who it was like I was allowing them to say certain things. I was allowing certain behaviors. I was letting it slide,
because you didn't want to go back to being that other Danisha.
I didn't want to go back to that, and I knew what that looked like. And I'm like, you know, I'm going to let this go. I'm going to let this go for the sake of peace. We have mutual friends. I don't want to make it weird. I'm going to let this go. This person said this. So then, but my energy still showed it. I would pull back. I would get angry. I would be shady. I would post a shady post. And like, you know, because that's how I felt. I felt like this. So I'm going to share this post because you are pissing me off and this is how you're making me feel. And instead of me just saying that, I'm going to share this because my alternative is just to punch you in the face, you know. So like,
Daddy, just don't let me find out you're a street fighter.
It's terrible. Like, it's the what's in there that I have suppressed is terrible. So I'm
Dani the dragger. Oh my gosh!
All I have is a shady post because the other thing is to be arrested.
And that teaches people also how to treat you.
Right.
You know, I think we can get in a pattern. Okay, I know she ain't gonna say nothing. So then I can do the things I can say, and there's no consequences. There is a very fine line in teaching the people the consequences of mistreating us.
Yeah.
That, you know, you mentioned that. And you mentioned something too. There would be people that would see the light in you before you saw it. For whatever reason, trauma, because I think there are things, if y'all are church going people, they say this, like the enemy will notice that, you know, this little human being right here is going to be one of the ones to change the world. They're going to cure cancer. They're going to bring world peace. So before this young human being, this young being has a chance to come into their own, let me just chop them off at the root. Let me infect them at the root before they grow and sprout, before then I won't have any control over them. Let me pour in chaos and confusion and dissension and not love and growth. Let me turn that light off. So it sounds like you mentioned, like, some of the people were there, they saw the light in you, and they're like, how can I stop this before I can't control her no more?
Yeah, and
before
I
can't use her like I want to be able to use her.
Oh, that part. The crazy thing is, I'm not sure. I think that vindictive people are they have motive.
Yes.
I think they do, but a lot of times, just me giving the benefit of the doubt, I don't think they're aware of their behavior. But maybe they are.
Are they aware? Do they have awareness? Okay. Let's look at racists. Let's look at white supremacy, or the false notion of white supremacy, as I call it. I know this ain't about that, but do they know why they hate the way they do? Some people call it a mental illness, but do they know, or do they say, I think I'm supreme, or I'm fearful? I think a lot of that vindictiveness does come from a fear.
Okay.
This person will surpass me. This person will take things that were made for me. In my, you know, this person will forget about me. So I think there's a level of self-preservation in those vindictive or people that think they're supreme. I think there's a level of that, but there's also just a whole bunch of fear. So do they know? That's the age-old question.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, but we ain't got time to figure out, do they know if they're harming us? Because we're the ones getting punched in the face.
Right.
You know, so it's like, you know, do I care about their motive? Yeah. But I think it depends on the person.
Yeah.
Like a person that tries to hurt you, that's being vindictive toward you, do you give them the benefit of the doubt?
I give too many benefits and doubts.
Damn.
Like for and then, you know, I literally, like what you were talking about, I told Zay, I just got to finish telling him, I'm like, it would, that fear that you mentioned of people seeing me growing or seeing, or like what we talked about earlier is like when you say you had the C's and you didn't really have to try really hard, and it's like you with your little 4,000 followers and you're getting these large opportunities. Like how does she keep getting this? How did she get here? I tried to get there first and I didn't get in. How did she, you know? And it's just like that seeing you grow. Chad, you know Chad, our friend Chad always says, he's like, you are larger than Harlem and you don't see that. That's what he said, because I'm from Harlem.
Yeah.
He's like, you're bigger than Harlem.
Big
like,
up to
you're
Harlem.
worldwide, right? And I'm like, I never looked at it that way, but it also shed light that if Chad saw that, so do my enemies. Or
We,
people,
you know,
like,
and we need more Chads, because
Yeah.
I'm sure just for every Chad, there's 5 more that'll be like, you local.
Yep.
Why don't you just stay where you are and change? No, but we also, some people speak death over us, but there are some people that speak life and light.
Can we get to that?
Let's go.
So I want to talk about, again, if we had a group of girls and young women in this room right now, I want them to be able to know the difference when it comes to friendship, to be able to discern a friend that is holding you accountable in a way that speaks life into you,
Okay.
versus a friend that's tearing you down with this quote unquote love and accountability. Like, how can they discern the difference?
How do we decipher a hater and a all-around hater and somebody that just hates something that we're doing and wants to see us do better? What type of positions have they put you in to grow? Because if you like, you know, if you've put me in a place to where I can thrive and grow, maybe you've introduced me to a new job or new friendships or a new opportunity. If I've grown from you because of you, I think you have my best interests at heart.
Right.
I'm more prone to thinking you have my best interests at heart. However, if you are a person that always points out the flaws, if you cannot celebrate me in my low and my highs,
Both.
in my lows, in the little moments, I got this. I'm like, I got a New York Times bestseller, or hey, I got my book printed on Amazon.
I love that.
You know, can you celebrate me at both mediums of success,
Even when it doesn't benefit you.
even if it doesn't benefit you? Selflessness is a good thing. Is the person, have they shown that they have a motive? Like, so I think that my main two are, what type of opportunities and places have you put me in to grow?
Yeah.
Because I feel like you kind of want to see me win.
Yeah.
And then, can you celebrate all the bits of me?
That's a good point.
What about you? What do you think? How do you, looking back, what should you have seen in those parasitic relationships?
Honestly, I have very good examples, because I have multiple groups of friends, which also was a gift and a curse to me. Because so what I noticed was some people would assume that the friends that I feel most comfortable with are enablers, or just don't hold me accountable or let me do whatever. But what I noticed the difference was, I would have a conversation with a certain set of people, and it would feel like you said, it was picking out every flaw of mine. It was like I couldn't do anything right. I couldn't pick a right guy. I couldn't dress correctly. I couldn't do business right. I was out too much. I wasn't out enough. It was just like, it was always something.
Nothing's ever enough.
Right, nothing. I felt like that. Like it's just always something to point out, and it almost made me forget how much I have accomplished, who I am. It almost made me forget.
You almost
made me
felt like
hard
you
on
had
myself.
something to prove to these people.
That part, absolutely, 100% that. But then I had a group of friends that were very celebratory. And I'm talking, like you said, highs and lows. We have a group chat, and sometimes my friend will be like, I don't know what this is, Nisha, but I'm happy for you. It's just that no matter what it was, like, what can we do? How can I show up? What can I have that? And if there were moments that needed accountability, we sat in our girl groups, we would get together and we would have that moment where we're just all like, well, this is something that I love about you, but I want to see you do better in this area. And it would be a very a growing moment, a moment of growth, a moment of like insight, reflection, and it didn't make you feel like crap. Like it didn't. Whereas that other set of people, it made you feel like you were nothing, like you weren't worthy of anything. It was even a point where one set of friends, I felt like, my dating life has always been a topic in our friends group, and me not being able to pick right and picking wrong. And with a set of friends, I felt like I was going to be single forever, the way they talked to me. Like I didn't have the capability to pick correctly. Like they wanted me to stay single forever.
Well, you were friends with them, so you didn't pick. You picked them too.
See, that part. It felt that way, and it didn't feel like it was growing me. It didn't. That accountability didn't feel like it was doing anything to benefit me. Whereas I had another group of friends, and they're like, "Look, Nisha, we're gonna get you together." Like you said, like they were putting me in the places and spaces, and they're like, "Listen, we're going to so and so, and I want you to meet these guys."
Yes.
because we're not doing this anymore. That's how that was.
I want to see you grow in better relationships, so I'm going to put you around a better quality of people.
Right.
That's what friends do.
Yeah.
Instead of, I feel like there's this. We've both had people where we did have something. We felt like we always had something to prove because they never approved.
Never.
I love friends that I can trust, that I feel safe with, that approve of like the smallest things. Sit with me when I'm making dumb decisions. Laugh with me when I'm like, girl, I did this. Like, laugh with me. Don't chastise me.
Yeah.
Don't criticize and critique me. To me, that is not the marker of a friend that I would want close to me because I'm not trusting you anymore.
Right.
People that bring up the things that they've done for you. People that bring up your past mistakes or things that you've told them and they turn around and weaponize them, that ain't a friend.
It's not a friend. And, that's when, again, when we talked about the reputation being on the line, when you have someone that uses your past, your flaws, your mistakes, your lessons as a reminder of what you're not.
You got to go. You out of here. You got to go. You are not safe. I think also, my younger self, I held on to friendships long past the expiration date and they started stinking. But because I never learned how to say, hey, I think we've hit the crossroads. You can go over here with love and honor and I'm going to go over here.
Yeah.
There's some relationships where I've had to do that and I respect the time that we spent so much. I would never talk bad about them, but we ain't got to intersect right now.
Right.
Yeah. And there's some where we let each other go for 5-6 years in life because one thing my, old folks say, they say, baby, keep living. Life will thrust you back into some particular situations and relationships. Yeah. So
if it's meant,
like, and maybe we'll cross the paths again. Maybe we'll intersect. Maybe we won't.
Right. Yeah. I want to touch a little bit on. So we're in the era of, trends.
Yes.
And so especially this generation that we're speaking to, Gen Z, how are they able to really curate genuine friendships opposed to these like friendships for goals?
You're doing TikTok challenges together, so you're friends.
Yeah.
You have to first say, is this a relationship of proximity? Because how like in our age group, we see like the ladies brunches and they always say the mean girls are at the ladies brunches and sometimes they are, sometimes they're not. Yeah. But you can tell a person is only interested in using your social capital or your access and getting close to you just to use you so that they can catapult themselves. You can tell because, again, they're not putting you in positions to win. Yeah. They're not complimenting you. They're not genuinely interested in your life. Yeah. Do you know my mama name? Do you know what college I went to? Do you know what food I'm allergic to? Like just the intricacies and the things that make me me. Do you know why I see the world the way I do? Those are the things that help me personally define an intimate homegirl relationship. Yeah. Like this is my sister. Like we've transitioned we've gone further than being friends. Like, this is my people now.
Yeah.
So I would say, is this person around you just for proximity?
Right.
Are they around you just to use you? Do they make you feel whole and good? Mm-hmm. Do they feed your ego? Because a lot of our friendships feed our egos.
Yes, yeah.
And that's not healthy, because that'll make you too fat. Mm-hmm. If you, no shade, but if you have somebody that's constantly feeding your ego, that's going to swell you up, and you'll combust, and so will that relationship. So
I would actually tell my younger self, like you said, if it's a friendship where they're only your friend when they benefit, or they're only praising you when they benefit, and the second they feel like they can no longer benefit from you, you start to see a change in behavior. That is not a friend.
The change in behavioral pattern. And we can do that with all of our things. If your job stops including you on company emails, and they stop inviting you out to the after work dinners, you know something's different. People's patterns are changing. If your boyfriend ain't answering your phone calls like he used to, or he's taking longer periods to call you back, and y'all aren't going out, that's a change in behavior.
Right.
We have the same thing in our friendships.
We do.
How are your behavior? You're being different. And you don't have to address it like you said, but you just watch.
You do watch.
You just observe.
And I think that's where I failed, because I was just, like I said, I had this conversation recently where I didn't pick up on a change in behavior, where this person was like just in awe of me at one point. Like they everything was just dope about me, and this was great, and this was great, and they wanted to be like my little shadow. But as you know, I had more children, and I couldn't do the things I was doing before. I had to take a pause from being in the limelight. As like my life started to shift and theirs started to grow and increase, it was kind of like, oh, her. Oh, and then I started to see the change in behavior, but I didn't pay it any mind. I got into the position of, let me, now you have something for me to celebrate, and, just being totally oblivious of how I was being shunned and kicked to the side and looked down on all of a sudden. And I noticed it in the verbal exchanges, the communication, the way I was being talked to, the way I was being talked at. It got so bad. And again, this is something I want girls and young women to pay attention to. Like we talked about in the beginning, not listening to the people who love us. There were people who loved me, like genuinely, family, friends, and they would see things. And it got to the point that some of my family were like, if this person is going to be there, please don't invite me. Like literally, they were like, if she's going to be there, do not invite me in.
Can you give an example of something this person did? I'm sure they're not watching.
Oh my goodness. So, and I don't care if they do, but so I remember, so I have a couple of my cousins, like my second cousins, we grew up like siblings.
Yeah.
And one of my cousins, I remember her way back, I had this boyfriend, and I would bring him around, right? Now, mind you, this is not things I'm running back and telling them. They are seeing this for themselves, like front row witnessing. So I had this boyfriend, and I would bring him around because I just wanted him to get to know my friend groups, my family. And my cousin would always say, like, she would pull me to the side after we would be out somewhere, and she's like, yo, your girl, like, she keeps saying things about your past in front of your new boyfriend, and it's pissing me off. And she's like, she's done this multiple times.
Did you not hear her?
It was like, I did hear it sometimes, but I thought it was like, I thought it was like part of regular conversation. Like we would be on a topic and somehow it would, something about my past would come up in front of my new boyfriend.
That is messy.
Right.
Unnecessary.
Right. And my cousin picked up on it. She's like, all right, it has been multiple times. Like she keeps trying to embarrass you in front of him. It's like she's trying to get him to break up with you. That's how my cousin perceived it. And she's like, I don't like that. I don't like the way she's trying to put you down. That was one occasion. Another occasion was in a public, and this was more recent. I had an event, and we had just a whole group of friends and some new friends I had, old friends and new friends. And in this event, this person took so many opportunities to just drag me about my poor choices and
publicly or
public. This was in the event. And mind you, I felt it, but I'm in my head again and I'm like, is what I think happening.
That's when we needed
right
Dani
now.
to drag her to come back out.
I know. And I really felt it, and I felt a little uncomfortable. And actually, one of my guests said to me after, like,
Does she like you?
Yeah, she's like, it made me uncomfortable. That's what one of my guests said to me. And I actually had a couple of friends who approached me. One friend said she started to walk out. She was like, yo, I don't like the stuff she was saying. She said, I wanted to say something, but we were recording. It was a live event. Another friend was like, yeah, I picked up on it. Like, that was her opportunity to, like, just take you down, make you look a certain way in front of everyone. And it was so embarrassing. And it was like, but I stayed in, host mode.
You were professional.
Very professional. And I'm just like,
you could have gone viral, though, and had a world star moment if you didn't.
Right? But I just was like, those times of people who love me trying to tell me, like, I don't like this behavior.
And you didn't listen, and it culminated to this person trying to publicly humiliate you.
Absolutely.
How did you put the nail in the coffin and end that?
So to be honest, again, it's something I had to teach my daughter about this situation so she can get ahead of it for her life. And I'm like, because I didn't do what I'm telling you to do now, this is where it got. And I told her, I'm like,
far.
I spent too many years, people who love me, telling me things they saw for themselves and didn't like. Too many years, even in terms of non-reciprocal support. People are like, why are you always pumping this person? And they barely post you. Like, they're seeing this with their own eyeballs. And I'm just like, maybe they don't care about that, and just making excuses. And I told my daughter it was too many years that I allowed it, even down to group chat conversations, taking the opportunity to embarrass me in writing, in the chat.
Are you saying that you didn't notice it, or you?
I was letting it slide.
Because I think this is what we can do, self-introspection. And why did I allow that to happen for so long? When you did your self-introspection, what did you learn about yourself and why you made space for that person?
I learned, and it was funny because one of my girlfriends asked me that very question. She said, what is it about this friendship that you kept holding on to despite these things? And I said, honestly, the longevity. It's a historical friendship. I thought that I had to be friends with the person because it was so long. I thought I had to take those shots. I thought I had to just suck it up. The mutual friends. I didn't want to break up friend groups by saying I'm done with this person and people have to pick, like, I didn't want that. I felt, I'm so loyal, to be honest. I felt like a need to continue this loyalty for whatever reason. I don't know, but I just felt, and then when the situation happened, that was so detrimental to not just my reputation, but my mental health. That's when I stopped and I said, again, this is what I want girls and young women to know, like, some of your friendships can be a detriment to your mental health.
Absolutely.
An extreme detriment, especially to the point where it publicly humiliates you. It's like, once it got to that point, I was just like, Danisha, why did you hold on?
Why did you hold on? When you were talking, I thought about something. As little girls, young women, we are not taught how to enforce our boundaries.
Yeah.
So, and then we're taught that if you say no, you're being mean.
Yeah.
Which, we see abuse happening. We see families look over it. We see, in certain cultures, the adults, that's an adult, you're going to respect them. Go give auntie so-and-so a hug. A child can't even express body autonomy without the adults in their lives making them feel like you're being bad if you say no. So I think a lot of us were not programmed to say, I don't want this. This doesn't make me feel good, but I'm going to have to do it anyway because they said so. I kind of feel like a lot of us are programmed in that manner. And so that keeps us from being able to say, hey, this friendship, how you're being with me, this opportunity, something in me does not feel good. And so we miss the marker on being able to pick up that thing in us that, lets us say that. And, we'll heal the age-old thing. Like, if you have estrangement from a family member, a parent, a sibling, whatever, they'd be like, well, that's your family. But this girl was in your life for so long, you're like, well, she's been here.
I think a lot of my guilt came from the guilt tripping I was receiving of that behavior was out of love. So it would force me to feel like I'm being irrational because this person loves me. It's like, coming from love.
But do I define love with hurt and pain and rejection and putting me down? And you're like, no, I don't. You also said something, I made a mental note. This person was complimentary of you. Oh my God, singing your praises. I think we can define a person very quickly and let them in their lives. They disarm us by showering us with compliments. You know, we see that when they say in narcissistic relationships. What is it called when they like overly compliment you and move real fast?
Love bombing.
Love bombing.
It started that way.
Yes.
We have like, when I was popping, it was a lot of praise.
Oh my God, Dani, you're amazing. You're this. They're, sharing you all over the place. They're showing that they are adjacent to you. Like they're doing little things. So friends that love bomb us, I would say that's a thing that we need to be very careful about.
Oh, that's a good one.
I got that way too because it feels good to your ego.
That's a good one.
You the bomb, girl. Oh my God, this is my homegirl. She was on this and she was on that. And you just get to stand there. You get to stand there. But then I won't necessarily say, because that person sounds like they were a fan. She sounds like she was a Dani fan. I'm not saying that we can't befriend fans, but you have to be very careful on what are their motives. Yeah. Because once that fan gets to know you, one of my favorite sayings is familiarity breeds contempt. Dani, I was a fan of yours before, but now I know the intricacies of your life and I feel contemptuous. I feel like, I see how this thing is happening for you. Some people we need to remain a beautiful fantasy for.
Wow.
You
articulated that so well because I was going to say when I was no longer popping. That's what I was going to say.
You were never not popping.
Okay.
But this person, they became familiar with you and your mistake was not differentiating between a fan and a person that had the ability to be a genuine friend.
But I didn't even know a person who's been in your life so long, since teenage years, could be a fan. I didn't know that. Yeah. To me, it's just like
they saw everybody else celebrating you. So if they didn't celebrate you, they would be deemed a hater.
Wow.
That they just were following the group until she could not control that hate no more.
Yeah.
She couldn't do it.
True colors eventually show themselves. And again, I had to self-reflect, like you said, and really say to myself, Danisha, you know what's coming from love. Someone saying to you, don't you have multiple degrees? Why can't you write a complete sentence and story post is not love. That is not love.
Girl, hold on now. What?
Yes, this was something said to me by a friend and not in private, in a public group chat.
Oh, you don't like me.
When I told my other friends that, I actually screenshot and I showed them. I don't care if it was talking shit. I'm like, am I bugging or is this like shade sideways? And they were like, the heck no. Like, why would somebody say that to you? And it actually took that person's partner to say to her, like, yo, are you bugging? Like, call that wasn't okay. Like, you don't say something like that wasn't okay. And then it was a call like, oh, that's not what I meant.
Yes, it is. I'm like, you said exactly. You meant what you said, but now let's explore what rotten thing in you has been festering to make that come out of your face.
Yeah, and I guess because, I'm just too proud of my degrees. I'm too proud of my education.
You should be.
I come from the projects and a tough background. I'm absolutely proud. Like,
you should scream it I made it to the mountaintop every chance you get.
And I want young girls and women to know that. Like, if you accomplish something, it's not bragging. You're not like, oh, you're crap and I'm this. But it is you are so happy for how far you came. Be happy. Be loud and proud and happy about it. And if that bothers someone, that's a them problem. And my degrees came up with this friendship. It came up multiple times. And it was just like I had to self-reflect, like, why did you let this continue for so long?
Lack of boundaries. And, we were not raised to, we were raised to just be nice.
Yeah.
And I think that might have something to do with patriarchy.
Yeah.
But, I think that's just one of the things that kind of comes along with the girlhood and the woman experience of being a woman and growing up in a society where we do have to pale ourselves and diminish ourselves and still look prim and proper while fighting literal wars and fighting for our safety and our health and our rights.
So I want to be like very intentional about making it clear to girls and women how important it is to choose a very healthy tribe. And mind you, you don't need a whole bunch of friends. I think that's what we forget too. 2 good friends is good. 1 good friend is good. But choosing a very healthy tribe, especially for your mental health. The things I talked about to you it's unimaginable how they have impacted my mental health. Like,
Yeah.
I was actually very verbal about how it impacted my mental health, and the behaviors continued anyway. But I want to be intentional. Like, I want to know how we can really get girls and women to say, if this friendship is affecting my mental health and I'm trying to actually heal,
Yeah.
it got to go.
You got to go.
That's it.
Yeah. One thing that we've both picked bad partners, bad friendships, relationships, jobs. I wish I would have shown more deference to the effects of mental health and other people's lack of their own mental health. I wish I would have known what a narcissist was, or a person with borderline personality was, or
Right.
someone that's suffering from bipolar. I wish I would have known what some of those things were, and I could have positioned myself a little bit better too. I don't think we have enough education on.
We don't.
Yeah, because it's like a person's ugly to you. It's not you. It's literally the chaos that's in their own head sometimes. So
And there's nothing you could do.
nothing
with that.
nothing.
There's nothing
You can
to
spend
do.
years trying to help them and trying to do, and ain't nothing you can do.
Yep. And like my grandma told me, to close out, let's be very clear on putting people in categories. Friend, everyone is not your friend, and they don't need to be called your friend. I think I just learned that, like, probably this year. I started to correct myself, like,
That's
my
not my
coworker,
Yes.
my colleague, an associate, someone I know.
Yes.
And I started to hear myself say more, oh, this girl I know of, instead of saying my friend. Just
Yeah.
because I met them and we hung out a couple of times don't mean that
Yep.
they're my friends. So we have to learn, we have to tell girls and young women, put people in categories and leave them there until they prove otherwise.
Perfect. I love it.
I love it. Thank you so much, Naja. Again, this is good intentions, because all of this is from good intentions, right? But sometimes we make bad decisions.